Alright, it looks like they're off. So I'm Mumu Akai.
And I am Brass Wolf.
And this is Specter of Torment. If you're not familiar with this is the latest DLC for Shovel Knight. And in this campaign, Specter will have a slightly shorter jump than Shovel Knight, but he will make up for that with the ability to climb walls, and he can do aerial dash attacks on enemies and lanterns. David just picked up a red skull, and they're going to need different amounts of that, but they are used to unlock sub-weapons for Spectre known as curios. David is going for the Bounding Soul route today, and that is about a minute faster overall. However, it's a far more dangerous route, so we'll see if there are adjustments made to make it more tournament-friendly.
And Ames will be going for the original route called Skeletal Sentry, which is a little bit more consistent, and we'll see how that plays out today.
Plains is a pretty easy stage. Nice chance to see how runners handle all the different situations. It's a good stage to showcase like all of Spectre's natural abilities that you're not really going to get a lot more of this. The run's going to differ a lot from 80% and low percent, where you wouldn't have any upgrades. And we're already seeing Amps take a safety strat. He's picking up a Will-Wisp, which is a permanent health upgrade, and you can find them in all the stages. If you don't find it in the stage, you can purchase it in the lobby, but that costs a lot of money. And the runners are going to need all the money they can get to unlock an armor early on.
Both runners have all the items that they need in terms of red skulls, and we're going to be approaching the boss Black Knight, the infamous boss of each Shovel Knight campaign. Mumu, can you tell us about the Black Knight fight?
Yes, Black Knight is kind of irritating, but luckily there's a good stun lock for him. It's a pretty good first fight. Spectre is a little more spacing dependent, but it's definitely not as bad as Black Knight. I'm very happy with the way Spectre's stun lock works on this guy.
And it's interesting how they both, seem like they're lined up right now.
Yeah, they're both having fine planes. Terrapin is also attackable, as you may see the reticle sometimes appears on the turtle below Black Knight, and that's going to come more into play later on. Amps actually got a little bit of good RNG there. He managed to kill Black Knight while Terrapin was as close to the right wall as possible, and the stage ends when Terrapin makes a hole in the wall, and both him and Black Knight actually leave. So a slight half-second time save there.
So now we're entering the tower, which is basically the world map of Spectre. It has access to all sorts of different things we'll see throughout the run, picking up a skull on the way, and we're going into our first stage, the Flying Machine, which in Shovel Knight is one of the last stages.
Yes, but since you can do the stages in any order for Spectre's campaign, runners all go here first, because the stage that you do determines what weapon you unlock from it for purchase afterwards. Now, Flying Machine is extremely dangerous. It does give you some of the most money for completing the stage, but the runners will need a lot of money, so they'll have to break a ton of checkpoints. The stage is incredibly lethal, with deadly, painful enemies that deal more than average damage, lots of instant kills from pits and spikes.
And each runner is what they're trying to do is get enough money to get the rail mail at the end of the stage, and then so they're going to see what they're doing with their money in order to gain it. They're trying maybe to take less risks, maybe getting alternate money so they don't have to break as many checkpoints.
Yeah, Amps picked up some wall gold at the start of the stage. They're both coming up on the first mini-boss, the Dinghy Dropper, which is I think he has like 14 or 15 health. They're going to try and reflect some of the bombs to blow up on the Dinghy Dropper. David's doing pretty good. Oof. Kind of eating a ton of damage. Both breaking the first two checkpoints. I really hope that they are confident. Well, they're getting a nice little breather here. The stress of the Flying Machine comes with an auto-scroller so that they can kind of catch their head. There's also good money in the auto-scrollers, and plenty of free skulls to grab. Because Amps is getting the Skeletal Sentry, he has one less skull than David, who have to get an extra skull in the plains.
So one of the interesting things we're going to be looking at is seeing if which of the runners is going to go, if they're going to go for extra money at the top of the autoscroller. They're looking for a music cue, where the song loops at the top. They're hoping to beat that.
Yeah, this stage has global fan cycles, and I'm going to see if David gets an early fan cycle. Ooh, nice, as he enters the room. Amps had to wait, unfortunately. And will David get the alternate jelly strat? Ooh, ooh! I don't blame him for backing out. Okay, Amps did good. Amps got it. Now they're in the triple Jawa room, and these enemies are extremely annoying. They blow you away. They deal a heart of damage on any contact. No! David. And a lot of that money is going to be really hard to recover.
It's good
he needs to get back some of it. I hope he remembers, though. Oh, please. Oh, please, no!
Oh, no!
This is why this stage is just so deadly. I really hope he doesn't have to restart. He's going to need to dig up some extra money. But Amps is now fighting Propeller Knight. Propeller Knight will deal a full heart of damage with any of his lunge attack. He also moves every time you hit him, so keeping Propeller Knight grounded is extremely difficult. Amps finishes Propeller Knight, not bad. And David is coming up now. David's going to need to make up some money. He needs 8,400 if he wants to unlock the rail mail after the first stage. He's breaking the last checkpoint there. I hope he remembers that there's some money in the lobby he can get from the Juice Bar guys. The Juice Bar bros. And Amps is rewarded with the Judgment Rush. Yeah, okay. I thought he made a menuing mistake that actually gave me a heart attack. So he did navigate the menu correctly. He has Judgment Rush now, which allows him to lock on to enemies and fly through even walls to deal a full heart of damage. Most enemies are one-shot by it, but bosses will survive. And with the money that he has, he's going to wake up Manny, which allows him to purchase armors, and he's getting the rail mail, which allows him to act as if he's grinding on rails everywhere. Normally something you only see in 2 of the stages. So David does need a little bit more gold. I hope that he goes upstairs. Please, David, hear my thoughts. Meanwhile, Amps is in the Lich Yard, and he needs to be here so that he can unlock the Skeletal Sentry weapon.
Alright, Jack, give David your power.
Now, the Skeletal Sentry requires... Oh, he is going for the gold. Good stuff. Skeletal Sentry requires more skulls, so you're going to see Amps doing a lot of detours to pick up these red skulls, and he'll also be breaking more checkpoints for more darkness. But David did recover. He looks like he's not too shaken up, and he's heading to the Explodatorium, and he's heading here for the Bounding Soul. Why don't you tell us about some of the perils of the Explodatorium?
So one of the first perils is really just a lot of things in this stage can quickly do damage on you. The fact that you have less darkness in David's route than you do in Amps' route when you're on that stage is a good factor in the strats you can do. Right now, he's just trying to go fast enough to hopefully get something called a pot cycle. Everything that is on a global cycle, and he's just trying to go through this beginning stage as fast as he can, so he can continue through that to this first half.
Yeah, pot lids and fire traps in the Explodatorium are on global cycles, and he's opting not to break that second checkpoint. I think he missed the first cycle. Okay, playing it safe. Good call.
And he's going to be picking up a few skulls, not as many as Amps needs, but he will be getting a few skulls, so he can purchase that sub-weapon at the end of the stage, the Bounding soul.
Yeah. Amps is fighting the Phantom Striker, and this boss is extremely annoying, especially because Amps doesn't have a weapon to deal with him. Using a Judgment Rush at the start to get in position, and then he'll deal as many strikes as he can on Phantom Striker, who's going to be constantly teleporting around and becoming invincible. David does have low health. Please heal. Good stuff. Okay. Oh, he's breaking another checkpoint. Okay. And this is the Alchemeister mini-boss, who I believe has 14 hits as well. Fighting the Current while dealing with the Alchemeister is extremely difficult. It's actually not possible to one-cycle the Alchemeister, and it'll deal a full heart of damage on body contact. But that's because he doesn't have a weapon to deal with the Alchemeister. We'll see later with Amps if he can one-cycle with the Sentry.
And while David's finishing that up, he Amps us on to the first memory sequence. One of the cool things about Specter of Torment is that we have these memories of Specter Knight that tell the story, and he's in the first one of these playing Specter's original person, Donovan.
Yeah, in this stage, Amps is not going to have access to any of his weapons or armors, so no Judgment Rush, no Rail Mail, but he will keep any health or magic upgrades he's gotten. And there is a ton of money to be had, so it's very similar to Shovel Knight's dream sequences. Meanwhile, David is now coming up on Plague Knight, an extremely difficult boss. Now, this is the fight that David's going to have to do without a weapon. Plague Knight likes to teleport around a lot, make clones of himself. The real Plague Knight has a blue flask equipped, and this can cost you quite a lot of time early on. Just trying to keep up with him. And David has not picked up any extra health. Brave man.
And a good fight from him. That was a very quick Plague Knight.
So Amps is looking mighty rich. He definitely got all the money he needs. And he's heading, a Darkness upgrade and heading to Clockwork Tower. Clockwork Tower is pretty intense on the mana use at the beginning. It's also one of the longest stages, so this is going to throw off timing on who's ahead for a little bit, but Amp still has a good lead on his route. Darkness is extremely calculated, so he has to make sure he doesn't make any unnecessary uses of his weapons. Ooh, that was scary. Yeah, you saw that too.
Amps is the heart attack giver right now.
David picked up the extra 600 wall gold in the memory. Another dangerous thing about Clockwork Tower is that all of the checkpoints are really out of the way, and so is most of the food pickups. So in order to... Ooh, he didn't make the... Oh no, he's losing a lot of time here. The checkpoints are pretty far out of the way, so Amps is going to probably take one of them at least for safety. And David, after completing Explodatorium, has enough skulls to pick up his weapon. He's getting the Bounding Soul. This weapon fires at 45-degree angles. He can only have 2 out on the screen right now, and they don't pierce. So this weapon is not really in great shape. It's kind of like an uncooked meatball. Hopefully he'll add some good spice to it later on.
So David is heading on to his third stage after Plains, called Lost City, which is, again, another dangerous one for the Bounding Salzrat because of the darkness. He's going to have to manage that and determine when and when not to use it.
Basically, Judgment Rush trivializes a lot of the room's mechanics, and by not having as much darkness, he cannot use as many Judgment Rushes to solve puzzles. There are alternate ways to deal with it by using Rail Mail. However, there's lots of open pits with lava, lots of ways to just fall into your death, take a ton of damage, fire droplets deal a full heart. Ooh! He almost got knocked straight into the pit. It's coming up on Beetle 1, which is an extremely tense moment for a lot of the runners. We're gonna need Steve's help, please. Please, Steve. Okay, he goes for it. Ooh! Oh my god. Oh my god! David, please! Okay, Amps made it through the halfway point of Clockwork Tower.
Playing it safe.
I'm getting stabbed in the face there. Oh, don't die. And Amps is trying to bait the Silver Duck Knight. Was a little uncooperative at first, but he did get the bounce off of the Duck Knight to get out of the room quickly. Oh my god, David's health is extremely low. I'm just noticing that right now. And I don't blame him for taking it safe.
Hoping it grabs the next checkpoint.
Yeah, please.
Oh, thank you.
Now there's a trick coming up with the Bounding Soul. I hope that he can get it. Actually, he's going for the Judgment Rush strat. Okay, that's not bad. The Bounding Soul strat can get you hurt if you're unlucky. He has one more beetle he needs to pass. Amps is in the second auto-scroller of Clockwork Tower, and he's about to face Tinker Knight. You want to tell me some terrible things about Tinker Knight?
Tinker Knight is a two-phase boss. He has himself, and then he has, well, you'll see it in a minute, a second phase. He can deal a lot of damage, and he has this gear he's on, and it'll rise up after a certain amount of damage. He's trying to avoid the wrenches he's throwing. Because of Amps' health at this point, it's not terribly dangerous as long as he keeps a good lock on him and is avoiding enough damage. And then he gets the first phase. Now he's going on to phase 2. He'll probably get the health drop that happens. And what he's going to try to do is travel with Tinker Knight as he floats to deal as much damage on comboing rushes and slashes in order to get it. And he's doing a really nice job so far keeping it down. And I'm going to let Moo talk to you about the Mole Knight fight that's occurring.
That was a pretty quick fight, but yeah, David did quick work on Mole Knight there by throwing out some well-placed Bounding Souls and by getting some double hits as Mole Knight passes by from right to left and back. He finishes up pretty cleanly. He did give me a bit of a scare on the Slime Block skip. He ran out of mana for dry Judgment Rushes. But he has more than enough money to go and upgrade his Bounding Soul, while Amps is finally getting his weapon, the Skeletal Sentry. So the upgraded Bounding Soul on the right there, this is Legion. For 3,000 gold, you can wake him up, and then for 4,000 gold, you can make it so that Bounding Soul now, you can have 4 of them on the screen at the same time, and they pierce. Extremely useful, especially if you can get the kill here on Reese, while Amps is doing the same with his Skeletal Sentry, which when you place down on the ground fires a couple bullets, but upgraded it will fire 5 bullets. It has more hits of health, and you can detonate it situationally to destroy blocks. Interesting fight so far. He managed to avoid a teleport. He does need to catch up to him. Just 3 hearts left on Reese. If Reese gets away... Ooh, this is bad. Reese is going to spend a lot of time now just chilling in the corner. Well-spaced shots there. He does manage to get some hits in on him. Amps got pretty lucky on that first round there. He Judgment Rushed up into the sky, though. Let's see if he can finish off... Ooh, yeah, Judgment Rush, when you upgrade it, allows you to invincibly charge up the attack, but without that, Spectre does have to bake the Judgment Rush for a little bit before he flies. Okay, both have passed Dark Reese pretty handily, and David is now in the Iron Whale.
And now Amps is going to be starting that stage too, so you're going to see a slight difference because both runners have different amounts of darkness in their route.
Along with their different weapons, which will come into play with the mini-boss. But for now, David is going for, the rushless version of the Tentacle Room skip. Spectre's Scythe is absolutely huge, and it can actually hit through the invincible portions of these tentacles. He didn't have enough mana, though, so he's going to have to float down to the bottom. Ooh, and at least he didn't miss the anchor there. Amps opted for the Judgment Rush strat. Now, Judgment Rush's AI is a little wonky. It basically targets the enemy that is closest to Spectre. However, if Spectre cannot exist where it would end up putting Spectre, then the Judgment Rush will find a different enemy or just completely fail.
You know, David's onto the 420 fish, that we call it, and it's basically a small auto-scroller as he gets to the arena, in order for him to actually do damage when he opens his chest and the orb inside.
Yeah, he's called the 420 fish because we'd rather if he were lower to the ground for these kills, but he just likes to stay really high. But he does get the very good basketball juggle. He got all those hits. Nice, very clean kill. And we're going to see Amps doing the same thing. Now, unfortunately, because Amps has the Skeleton Sentry, most of those shots are not going to be able to hit the angler weak spot of the 420 fish. So Amps is going to be a little sad that he's super high up in the air. However, there is a way to get a... I don't think he's going to go for it. Yeah, there's a way to get the quick kill on the 420 fish, but it's extremely precise. David now entering the dreaded room of Big Bertha here. Bertha deals 2 full hearts of damage with any contact, and she's invincible to most of Specter's attacks. In fact, the only things that can really kill her are anchors that could randomly drop on her, or if he had the Dread Talon, but that's not a weapon these runners are going to be picking up.
And he got through it, and he's heading down to the final missile room into the Treasure Knight fight, while Amps right here is going through the same Bertha room, the same amount of health. We're heading to the treasure fight, which we'll see how it goes. We're going to really see the difference between the items here.
Yeah, these weapons are going to completely melt through Treasure Knight. Let's see, that's an interesting... he is getting a lot of reflective damage there.
Okay, nice use of Rail Mail.
Not the traditional kill for treasure, but he still manages to make decent work of him. We're going to see how Amps does with the Skeleton Sentry. Well placed.
And
treasure is down. Very good. And David has enough money to upgrade his darkness right now, so he's caught up. He's getting to the Lich Yard. Amps is, I believe, heading to Lost City now?
He is. So we're really going to see a difference with David. If you recall, if Q8 is back, Amps just did Lich Yard, but David does not have to get all the items that Amps did. So you're going to see just the different kinds of stages that he can run in his route. And you're going to see, again, the flip side. Oh no.
Oh, what a shame. Yeah, so Specter sometimes kind of has like garbage controls. If you press down, he actually turned left and slashed, which is another way to fall off of walls. He just completely dropped. Probably didn't expect it. A bit of a shame, but... Oh no!
He's just jumping a little short, I think, and hopefully this third time is going to be the charm.
Meanwhile, Amps is approaching Beetle 1, but he has a lot more darkness than David had when he went through the Lost City, so he should be able to get by with just plenty of Judgment Rush spam. But we'll see if he goes for the faster strats anyway.
And David's through that wall, and he's onto the rest of the stage, and we're going to see again the difference he's doing with Amps on the left screen.
Okay, everyone is remembering that Rail Mail can grind on spikes. It's always giving me a heart attack, but... Ooh, Amps misses the first Green Lantern. Did not get through the room quick enough. It is a long room, so...
Ooh! I appreciate the risk.
Nosedive right in the lava.
I appreciate the risk.
He probably doesn't know, but that jump is actually based on your momentum, and if you decide to bounce off of the Green Lanterns too much, Specter loses a lot of his grinding momentum, so he can't clear that jump. And David passing straight through these rooms where you would normally see, or you might have seen Amps picking up the red skulls, breaking the checkpoint. David just gets to go straight on by, so this is a chance for him to catch up route-wise. Fumbling a little bit with the Gatekeeper, and David's actually going to get to do something very interesting. He's fighting Phantom Striker with the upgraded Bounding Soul, which is another reason why this weapon is so powerful, is that it can actually save a ton of time on boss kills while just about evening out on the rest of them. So we'll see if David can get the quick kill on Phantom Striker. Amp's choosing not to pick up that checkpoint. Hopefully he doesn't have any terrible spells here. Ooh. Come on, dude.
Spooky.
I'm not sure. Yeah, he didn't do enough damage to trigger the... Oh my god. Spaghetti all over the place.
Oh.
It's okay. David is finishing off Phantom Striker now. Amps did not fall into lava multiple times. Ooh, Amps again did not pick up a checkpoint. I really hope, like, Mole Knight should not be a difficult kill, especially with the Skeletal Sentry. Nice double hit, another double hit.
Oh, but the Skeletal Sentry's turned around.
Yeah, he needs to do something about that.
He can finish it before, and okay.
Not bad. So yeah, Skeletal Sentry turns around every time he gets hit, and you have to either hit it yourself to turn it back the other way around, or just detonate or throw a new one. Now David is in the second memory. Yo, go Luan. Aw, that's a shame. So Luan gave him a little bit of bad RNG. Luan can choose to kind of run ahead of you. We'll see if Amps gets that good RNG. But Luan did give both of the runners Caltrops for the second stage. And the Caltrops can be thrown. So it's a nice projectile, and it's certainly going to be extremely useful on the boss coming up. Yo, go Luan, go. Is he doing it? Yo!
Nice!
Luan gave Amps the good RNG there. Good stuff for him. Alright, and David is coming up on Shield Knight. And Shield Knight is extremely annoying because of her gigantic shield that prevents you from attacking her from the front. Caltrops need to be fully resting for her to run over them. So it's going to be interesting to see how runners adapt. Not a lot of runners have a consistent kill here for Shield Knight.
Okay, so you'll notice that David and Amps eventually will. They're trying to hit Shield Knight behind when she has her shield. When she throws it, they're going to try to get as much damage as possible before she gets her shield back.
One more hit.
You can do it.
Good. He did manage to finish off Shield Knight before she did her final 2 charges. Two and a half left on Amps. One more hit.
And down.
Okay. Yeah, Shield Knight can be pretty irritating. Her first couple jumps are extremely random. Now David is heading over to the Clockwork Tower, so we're going to see David lose a bit of time here in terms of the overall... Oh, he's picking up some extra health there. Not bad. I don't blame him for that. He's actually buying the health from Plains, which only costs 1,000 gold. All the other health and Wisps upgrades are 4,000 gold. So by picking up the one from Plains, it's pretty cheap, and it won't hinder him from buying Darkness after this stage. Now Amps is in the Explodatorium, and again he's going to be looking to catch certain pot cycles, certain fire trap cycles, fighting water currents, avoiding pointy spike pot lids, which deal hard and a half of damage. Amps is actually doing really good here. Let's see if David gets the one cycle. He did get stuck by the by this crushing wall section. But he does have enough mana to do these Judgment Rushes. Yes, he did manage his mana very well. So now David approaching the first auto-scroller. And David took a little bit of damage there. I guess this is a good reason why he picked up that extra health. Again, Tinker does deal a full heart of damage with all of his hits, pretty much. Damage boosting throughout the stage is slightly more optimal.
And Amps heading into the Alchemist, something he's going to be doing is using Skeletal Sentry in order to maximize the damage, something that David could not do at that time in his route.
Very nice.
And down.
Amps having to wait a little bit on that fire cycle. It's better to wait than to try and blindly rush through. You'll end up falling a fire cycle behind anyway. David looking aggressively ready to get out of the auto-scroller. I hope he grabs this checkpoint. Very good. So that's the only pretty easy one. Even then, that one's out of the way. Jumping over the ceiling there. It seems like the developers left a couple things there that were kind of hidden away, and Mr. Gentle is quite the guy who found a number of interesting little skips, that being one of them.
This is heading into the Plague Knight fight. He's again having the Skeletal Sentry to hopefully do a quick job on the guy.
So he did get him turned around the right way. A couple more hits.
One more hit.
Is getting away from him. There we go. Not a bad fight, but yeah, you can see that the Skeletal Sentry makes that fight way less aggravating than the way you would normally have to deal with him without any weapons.
On the other hand, David has Bounding Souls for Tinker Knight, and that's going to give him access to a whole set of new strats that are possible.
Yeah, the Bounding Soul strat for Tinker Knight is actually extremely fun. I really hope he can get a lot of good bounces. It's very precise, and all the Bounding Soul kills tend to be much more advanced than the general set and forget mentality for Skeletal Sentry. Meanwhile, Baz just breaks our windows again.
Come on, Baz. Okay, Amps is heading into the Stranded Ship, which is Polar Knight stage. And this is actually the first time, if you're just running this without any armor, that you would see rails. Those red and blue elements are actually rails.
Yeah, Amps, by the way, seeing Baz, that's not just a joke. It means that he only has 2 stages left, so he's genuinely ahead by now. Meanwhile, David did quite a lot of damage with those Bounding Souls. He's really, really close to finishing them off. Good first phase. Let's see if he can get the bounces in the second phase. Tinker is a little close to the left. Ooh, yeah, I had a feeling that would happen. So this is going to eat away at some of his ammo. I hope that he doesn't... Yeah, don't fall down. Ooh, he's not going to get to use Bounding Soul as much. I hope he can get back up there. Okay, some good missiles. Ooh, he needs to get on top.
Hopefully he can get on the tower and jump.
Okay,
good.
Nice. He's back up there. Okay, good. Yeah, you have to... Tinker and all the other bosses have sort of HP gates or desperation moves. Whenever they hit certain amounts of health, they'll do something different. In Tinker's case, he'll start to swing around to try and throw you off.
Oh, and Amps is pretty low on health on the left as David finishes, so hopefully we'll see what he's going to do with this.
He's not getting the checkpoint. Let's see if he can get the gnarly toss, though. Will he go for it? Yes!
He gets it!
Over the shoulder. Good stuff. Yeah, detonating this... Getting the sentry does allow him to trigger these switches, get to rooms a little bit faster. Bounding Soul can also do this, but the setups are slightly different. And David now sort of catching up here, entering Pridemore. They're both doing the same 2 stages last, just in a different order.
And David will have an interesting stage because in his route and the way he's set up right now, he'll have some darkness management to be considering as he goes through the stage. I'm trying to deal with the different obstacles throughout.
Did he get the early pot cycle there?
I believe he took it slow.
Okay. Amps coming up on Polar Knight. Again, this is a testament to how strong the Skeletal Sentry is. I hope he didn't move too far. Okay, looking good. Yep.
Down.
Because of the way hits work on bosses in this game, so long as a boss is still within the hitbox of a projectile, it'll take continuous damage.
David trying to go for a book skip, unfortunately misses it and takes a bit of damage trying to do so. So it'll be interesting to see what he does at this point to keep going.
He is getting the extra health there. Don't blame him. The health plate that is coming up is actually random. It could be a bomb. So getting the guaranteed turkey is a smart idea.
And Amps will now be heading into Pridemore with his loadout of Skeletal Sentry and 5 Darkness.
Let's see if Amps can make that first cycle if he goes for it.
Gets the slash.
Except the... Ooh,
nice!
Very,
that was
very
tight.
That's extremely difficult. David got a nice little trick with the Bounding Soul as he entered the room to hit a book.
Doesn't get the back boost, but
This is
he'll still
scary.
go.
Okay, taking a little easy for the rest of the book room. Now, Amps will have access to a slightly different version of the book room. We'll see if he goes for that later on. But for now, he's hopefully going to get... Yeah, he did make it. He did make it. Got the book skip.
Wait, so he doesn't take damage?
Let's see how David handles King Knight here. Bounding Soul makes this fight a little tricky. Ooh, got a nice dribble going on. Very good. King Knight has given him a decent floor pattern here. This fight does... Ooh! One more hit. Okay, nice shot.
So David will be heading into the stranded ship now after this, while Amps is finishing up King Knight stage Primordial Keep. We're gonna see really soon. Let's see what he does.
The quickest books is kind of an insane strat. I don't know if he'll go for that. No, he's going for the regular quick books. Okay. Someday Speed Frog strat will live on.
It's insane. I love it.
Okay, so now David has to deal with the stranded ship. Bounding Soul is pretty effective on that stage. We'll see if he can get some... the one cycle on the mini-boss would be nice for him, and getting through all the switch rooms quickly. Some nice double hit there. Some of those shots missed. He needs to turn around to Sentry again. Ooh, this is unfortunate. Yeah, with that, when King Knight falls into a pit, he'll start flying up in the air, which is even worse for the Sentry. It really can't do anything about an airborne enemy.
Okay, David's heading up to the bird mini-boss, which, with the Bounding Soul, can be very quick.
He's not even... Okay, he's not going to go for it. That's fine. It's a very tricky kill. You have to angle it properly. He is, however... Nice, he did the setup instead. So when you go for the Bounding Soul kill, you unfortunately lose the Rainbow Barf, and it prevents you from making that jump. That was an interesting... Nice shot. I can't believe the Bounding Soul actually got into that little hole there.
It's like 3 points, right?
From downtown! Yo! David
And he
with
gets
all
it.
the shots, nice.
Amps is into the first tower, Tower 1. Tizo's going to be trying to get through this as quick as possible, where he's going to see the first part of the books here, seeing what he does with this. Is he going for it? He's going for the one cycle books without hitting it again, and gets it.
Using Judgment Rush in this room is the easier and safer strat. Also refills your darkness, which is very good for making sure you have enough rushes for the rest of the stage. Tower 1 being incredibly dangerous overall, especially in the Crusher section. There's plenty of instant kills in this stage as well. We're going to see, there's pointed spikes, bottomless pits, Bertha will make a return.
Amps gets the early Crusher cycle. Let's see if he finishes it out, as he gets a good lead on that.
Hopefully he's careful. It's very easy to hit the death plane if you go too fast. Good.
It makes it.
And now Polar is on David's screen. Let's see how he deals with Polar. 3 shots to the start. Ooh, nice dribble. Oh,
Polar is down.
and Amps did make it through the slime block room. Now he's going to pay a visit to Bertha. We'll see if he goes to the much scarier kiss. Hopefully he doesn't get the kiss of death here. Yeah, he is. He looks like he's going for it. Yep. And now David is finally getting to enter the first tower stage. Amps is in the auto-scroller. Really close to the end here, but David's going to have one last chance to catch up. The scout... Ooh, Amps! Oh my god! That was really, really scary. Amps also did not get the checkpoint immediately after Bertha, so he really can't afford to die. But yeah, David using the Bounding Soul will have a severe advantage on the last 2 bosses. The Skeletal Sentry basically can't do much damage at all. Amps does have a good amount of money, so it means he's going to have enough to purchase the Charge armor, the Striker's Shawl, if he can manage to defeat Black Knight. Would you please tell me why we hate this guy?
So Black Knight 2 is just a boss, and there's just so many words you can say for him. Let's see. I'm gonna wait for Amps to start it, just to start explaining this guy, because he could do so much damage. I mean, he's floating on Terrapin, he can just drop on you, do tons of damage, and Amps is starting with an interesting setup to try to get him in the air, but he knocks him down. Now he's using Skeletal Sentry to hopefully get some damage on him as he's on the ground.
Yeah, the grounded battle is not my favorite. It's pretty difficult. You have to deal with Terrapin constantly trying to ram into you. He deals a full heart of damage anytime he makes contact.
Not only that, but Black Knight, if he does a downward shovel dig, that does a full heart of damage as well. So this can quickly become a dangerous fight. But now he's back in the air, and Amps is going to try to... Looks like he's finishing
One more hit.
And
good
he gets
stuff. Okay. Yeah, you take a lot of damage on the Black Knight fight. Yeah, that extra health saved his life. He's down to 1 heart right now.
Okay, let's see what David does with this Bertha rune. He tried for it, and he gets
nice.
Okay.
Nice. David did make it through, and he is picking up the checkpoint just in case. Amps has more than enough money to buy the Striker's Shawl. So this armor will remove his ability to grind around. This is going to be the first way that David's going to be catching up. But instead, Amps now can do a charge attack for a full heart of damage. This also applies to any dash attacks he does.
So while David is approaching Black Knight 2, Amps is going to be working his way up towards the Enchantress, part 1 of the 2 final bosses. With Skeletal Sentry, he's basically going to try to just use that to hit her when she goes underground. He's going to try to avoid damage as she shoots purple balls and flies around the screen, dealing full hearts of damage on contact and with her abilities. But with the Striker Shawl, Specter can also deal a full heart of damage.
Yeah, combining the sentry shots with well-timed charge slashes is going to be key to pushing the Enchantress through her phases quickly. And we're seeing David now. Will he go for the aerial battle? He looks like he tried to set it up. Okay, so he is staying up in the air.
Nice.
This is not quite right. Let's see if he can stay up here. Yeah, it looks like he really wants to stay up in the air. Ooh, but he knocked him down. This is going to be very tricky now. Bounding Soul will constantly be reflected by Terrapin, so it's not going to be much use. So Amps did make it to Enchantress, is pushing her under the floor now. Using the Detonate from the Skeletal Sentry can bring her back up very quickly. But he needs to bait her over there.
On David's side, Black Knight is down, so he's going to start his approach.
1.5 hearts left here. He can finish her off. One more hit, come on. One more beefy hit, please.
Ooh.
Don't know! Did he pick up the checkpoint? Didn't see. Okay, thank God. This is really a chance for David to catch up now. There's also a potential room skip that David can do. I wonder if he knows how to do it. Oh no!
Oh, Amps.
This is bad. Oh man. So yeah, using Judgment Rush, Amps just tried to chase Enchantress under the floor. I think he might have done that by mistake, and he realized that he was down there. It's extremely hard to get back up.
And that's an easy thing. That's an easy mistake to do. I mean, I've definitely done that, trying to fight Enchantress, and it's just such an unfortunate thing to happen, especially in a race context.
Enchantress deals a full heart of damage with all of her dives. Basically, everything she does is going to make Spectre bleed. Alright, David's showing off here. Let's see if he can get the a good kill with Bounding Soul. The reason why this weapon is so beloved. Bunch of shots. Nice. Good reflex. Yeah, she's about dead. I don't know if I'd go down there. Yeah. David is not going to go down there. Amps does finish off the Enchantress. Good stuff. A little more health here.
Just a little more on David's screen, just one more little hit, and Amps
can still catch up. Okay, this is real close, oh man. Now the rails are completely random here for Nightmare Reese, so if Amps gets lucky, he took a hit. Every hit will send Specter way back.
The downside to Amps' route is that Skeletal Sentry is useless on the rails because he can't land.
You can't even throw them to the right.
But David, he can use his item. So
Ooh. Nice use of Judgment Rush. Oh man.
Good job.
David took a hit there.
These bosses are really close.
Reese will rear back at certain health percentages. Amps is, on the last phase now. David has to knock Nightmare Reese down to 3 full hearts and then 1 more hit. The Amps is coming up on time. 1, 2, done.
And done.
Wow, incredible.
What a race, Amps.
David is still putting up a good fight. That's crazy. These guys who have like less than 40 seconds between their 2 times, and man, they sure put on a good race.
And David coming up to the last phase.
Come on.
And
Good
he's
stuff.
done. Nice race, Amps and David.
Incredible performance from both of them. Amps definitely scared me there when Enchantress got away from him for a bit.
And for a while, David had me scared, especially early on, just taking some deaths, but definitely being able to adapt to the situation and keep going, keep on persevering.
Yeah, Amps had a very clean run. He only had deaths at the very end, and it just shows how much time the Bounding Soul saves overall, that they were this close, considering how many unfortunate events David had to deal with at the beginning. I'm very proud of both of them. They both went for a lot of dangerous strats left and right. So that is it for our Spooky Boys. They did quite a good job. The next match between any of the Spectre runners is actually going to be tomorrow night, I believe. Yeah, tomorrow at 8 p.m. for those who care to watch. Other than that, thank you for hosting us here, Speed Gaming. I am Mumu Akai.
And I am Brass Wolf.
Have a good night, everyone. Stay spooky.